Hi, this is Gerald Salenti. It's Friday, February 21st, 2020, and here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front, not a happy day. Over there in Asia, mixed. Coronavirus. Down in Europe, coronavirus. Down in the United States, coronavirus. Gold, woof, way up. $1,243 an ounce. And again, Trends Journal subscribers won real big. That's right, you go back to June 6th, 2019. Our trend alert, the gold bull run had begun. Gold is now up more than $300 from when I made that forecast. So, it pays to subscribe to the Trends Journal. TrendsJournal.com, the only magazine in the world where you get not what's just going on now, but what it means and what's next. And here's what's next. On the Bitcoin front, that's up to oil down. Stocks fell sharply on Friday after a number of new coronavirus cases escalated, fueling worries over a pronounced global economic slowdown. China's National Health Commission reported more than 75,000 confirmed cases and over 2,000 deaths. So, again, not a lot of people, considering they have a population of 1.4 billion. But this thing is taking a toll, and it's really hitting their auto industry over there in China. Data from China Passenger Car Association showed auto sales plummeted by 92% in the first 2 weeks of February. So, we have a slowdown going on already. Again, it's in your Trends Journal. It just went out this week. It's global, and it's before the coronavirus. This is making a bad situation much worse. Oil prices fell nearly 1% on Friday on renewed concerns about crude demand being pinched by the economic impact of coronavirus. Oil prices have been going down long before then, and now Russia, they don't want to cut back so much anymore. And too much supply, not enough demand, the same old story. Meanwhile, in the United States, to put out more demand, oil rig count, an indicator of future production, rose for the third straight week. U.S. shale sector's looming $86 billion debt wave brings rising bankruptcy threats. Again, before the coronavirus, you're looking at natural gas prices really down low. So, you have a lot of problems coming on in the scene. What's going to bring oil prices and gas prices higher? Liquefied natural gas, that is, and gasoline. When there's war breaks out in the Middle East. So keep your eyes open for that. Gold jumped more than 1.5% on Friday to its highest level in 7 years, as investors rushed to the metal's safety due to concerns about global economic fallout from coronavirus. Central banks will deliver stimulus across the board, I believe, but the banksters are saying the opposite. Expectations for rate cut will fade as coronavirus fears ease, said Fed's James Bullard from the St. Louis Fed. Bullard spoke the day after Fed Vice Chair Richard Calidra jolted markets when he told CNBC that he pays less attention to market pricing and more to economic forecasts, which don't see the Fed cutting. And then following that, Atlanta Federal Reserve President Raphael Bostic became the latest central bankster to advocate a hold on interest rates. Quote, there are many different scenarios about what's going to happen between now and, say, June or July. My baseline expectations are that the economy is not going to see rising risks, and it's going to stay stable, so we won't have to do anything. You know what that is? You got it. It's bullshit. They're putting out this bullshit that they're not cutting rates. Why are gold prices going up? It's not the coronavirus. It's the central banksters reacting to it before this happened. And now this is increasing it, making currencies worthless as they keep injecting in more monetary methadone to keep the addicts, who they like to call investors, gambling in the markets. End of story. Central bank chief warns of sub-zero rates limits after Swedish experiment. Sweden's central bankster governor has warned that policies other than negative interest rates will be needed in the next global downturn, weeks after the country ended its own experiment with sub-zero monetary policy. You got it. They're running out of juice. They need other ways to pump up the economy. Monetary policy cannot and should not be the only game in town, Christine Lagarde, president of the European Central Bank, former head of the International Monetary Fund, said. Other policy areas, notably fiscal and structural policies, also have to play their part. You know what that is? Bullshit. You got it. Ain't gonna do it. Ain't gonna do it. The greatest depression is on the horizon. We're forecasting it's going to happen in 2021. You have black swan events like this going on with coronavirus and other things, wars, whatever may happen that you can't see coming, because nobody can predict the future. Too many wild cards, whether made by nature or man-made. They don't have the policies to turn this around. Chinese banks cut lending rate to boost coronavirus hit economy. You got it. Erdogan's goal of single-digit rates edges closer with 6 cuts. This, of course, is Turkey. Turkey's central bank has cut its benchmark rate for the 6th time in a row. The bank's Monetary Policy Committee lowered its one-week repo rate by 50 basis points to 10.75% yesterday. All right, now what does this mean? 10.75. What's the inflation rate over there in Turkey? Let's see. Annual inflation of 12.15%. You mean inflation is higher than the interest rate. They have negative rates. And guess what? So too is China. They have inflation going up. They can't afford to keep lowering these rates. Their yuan, their currency, gets devalued really quickly, as do others, as they lower rates. What does that mean? Well, hey, China, they're the biggest energy importer in the world. Oh, and they import a lot of product. Over 70% of their GDP is consumer-based. That means you got to pay more for it. Yeah, you got to pay more as your currency goes down. Oh, and I forgot about the huge debt problem that they have. Only $40 trillion in debt. Oh, and a lot of that debt is dollar-based in China. So they can't afford to see their currencies going down. These are desperate moves. That's why gold is going up, not because of Rosie, queen of coronavirus. It's making a bad situation worse. Yen's sharp sell-off tarnishes historic status as safe haven against riskier trading. The yen's reputation as a safe haven asset is taking a heavy blow as the currency sold off sharply against a backdrop of weakened economy and the deadly coronavirus. You know what that is? Bullshit. You got it. Japan's GDP fell 6.3%. It's in your Trends Journal. We did a whole big story on this before Rosie, queen of coronavirus, showed up. The yen softened by 1.4% on Wednesday to a near 9-month low against the dollar. The dollar's staying strong because the other currencies are going down. And gold is going up despite the dollar staying strong. What does that tell you? It tells you that things are really screwed up. Euro extends its fall on Germany outlook. The euro ticked lower against the dollar to trade near its lowest level in 3 years because of lousy data coming out of Europe. The yield on the 10-year German bond is still in the minus territory. And by the way, those U.S. bonds are going down too in the yields. Tells you recession. No, the greatest depression is coming. Profit warning hits records in Germany. Germany's top-tier companies issued a record number of profit and sales warnings in 2019 before the coronavirus. You got it? You got it? With automakers in particular forced to revise their targets in the face of a global slowdown. This is big. HSBC. It was a couple of days ago. They only axing 35,000 jobs. Morgan Stanley to buy E-Trade. $13 billion. The bigs keep getting bigger. And all we do is becoming more workers on the multinational plantation of Slavelandia as the bigs control more of the money. Needs facts? Young auto purchasers face sticker shock as sedans fade. Automakers have in recent years turned away from cheaper models such as hatchbacks and small sedans to focus on their lineup of higher-priced SUVs and trucks. The trend is pricing many young buyers out of the new car market. The number of new vehicles purchased by buyers between the ages of 16 and 35 fell by 4.5% last year. And the prices are going up, and they have these student loans. Imagine getting out of school with $30-something thousand and $40,000 in student loans. And a new car cost about $33,000. For what? You know why the prices are so high? Because of all the technology that they're putting in there. I drive an old car. I like it simple. Even give me them roll-down windows. This is stupid stuff. And they light up now, these new cars on the inside. All that light inside so you can't see out. Yeah, when you're a young guy, you're taught that right away when I was a boy. Yeah, lower the lights inside, the dashboard lights, so you can see better outside. Now everything's so bright inside, it's stupid junk. Anyway, Walmart's holiday sales disappoint. Walmart. I mention this because middle class, lower class, Walmart class ain't got the dough. And we've been putting out the numbers. They're in your Trends Journal. Again, history before it happens. There's no magazine like it. Go to our website. You see it. What we're putting out, no one in the world is coming close to what we're doing. Coronavirus wreaks havoc on airlines and doesn't look good for the cruise industry. Virus cases swell in South Korea as outbreak shifts and spreads. Wow. So I started looking up some numbers over here. China. All right. I got over 2,000 dead. Japan. 204 cases. 3 dead. South Korea. Oh, just right. Virus cases swell in South Korea. 86. 2 dead. Singapore. 86. 0 dead. Thailand. 35 cases. 0 dead. Taiwan. 26 cases. 1 dead. Malaysia. 22 cases. 0 dead. Iran. 18 cases. 4 dead. Italy, 17 cases, 0 dead. Vietnam, 16 cases, 0 dead. Germany, 16, 0. United States, country of 327 million people, 15 cases, and 0 dead. France, 12 cases, 1 dead. And scientists say why illness seems to be hitting men harder than women, particularly in China. They go on to say Chinese men have a higher cases of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure than women, and also China has the largest population of smokers, 316 million people, accounting for nearly 1/3 of the world's smokers and 40% of the tobacco consumption, but just 2% of the Chinese women smoke. So it's hitting people that aren't healthy, mostly. And on to some geopolitical news. Netanyahu unveils plans for new homes in East Jerusalem. Isn't that a nice headline? New homes. You're stealing land. You got it? Oh, no. God gave us this land. That's what Chucky Schumer said. That's why they have problems with the Palestinians. They don't believe in the Torah. Yeah, Torah. You know what? You're stealing land. Don't call me an anti-Semite. Last 3 girlfriends were Jewish. Netanyahu, yeah? Wonderful. Airstrike in Idlib province kills 2 Turkish soldiers. 2 Turkish soldiers were killed in an airstrike in the Syrian province. Was gripped by escalating clashes between Turkish-led forces and Russian-backed troops loyal to President Bashar al-Assad. They were brought in there. Turkey is an invader of a sovereign nation like the United States is an invader in so many sovereign nations. But Turkey got even. Turkey kills over 15 Syrian troops in the Idlib province, and they have a real refugee crisis there, over 1 million people leaving their homes. This was the last stronghold for the anti-Assad forces supported by the United States, the Arab Little League, and others. So they're moving in there, pushing them out. Now, Syria is now being invaded by Turkey, and Turkey is now supporting the forces that want to throw the Assad government out. And don't have enough problems over there? Turkey's Erdogan confirms sending Syrian fighters to Libya. Yeah, he's supporting the UN side, who supports a different government than this other guy that's trying to overthrow the government that was the former CIA agent, Haftar. Yeah. And brought to you by the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Barack Obama, that all them liberals love. That I tell you, that guy, Gaddafi, got to go. Along with Hillary Clinton, Samantha Power, and Susan Rice, Slimeball Sarkozy from France, and No Cojones Cameron, long gone, see you later from the UK, started a war against the most advanced nation in North Africa, where the people had more rights than anywhere else, free health care, education. Oh, no interest charged on loans. Unlike in the USSA and all the other democracies, where they give the banksters money for free. Yeah, you want to borrow how many billion? We'll charge you 1.5%. You little slimy lowlives, the workers on a plantation of Slavelandia, you got to pay 17% on your credit card, and that's the lower level. You come to 1 hour of payday loans, we'll get it up to 600%. We'll screw you and shift you any way we can. Yeah, but got to give the big guys a break. And what else do we have over here? Togo leader in re-election bid. I mention this because over there in Togo, the president has faced widespread protests demanding an end to his family's more than 50-year hold on power. It's every damn country. You get these sick people that won't let go of power. In a country near you. Okay. Washington tries indirect strategy to push Maduro out. This is from the Financial Times. President Maduro, duly elected president according to international observers in 2018 in May, won the election. The United States is regime change. And you go back to the State of the Union address when Trump brought in Juan Guaido, Yeah, the guy that Trump says is the legitimate president of Venezuela because he declared it himself. And all the Republicans and Democrats stood up and applauded regime change. Disgusting. And that's what the United States is doing. More regime change. I don't like that guy, Maduro. I want a man. I don't like the way he's treated his people. And we want their oil. Because you remember the low-life national security advisor under Trump previously, that's gone now. Bolton made it clear. He wrote about it in detail in our Trends Journal. They want the oil. Rosneft unit hit with U.S. sanctions for Venezuela oil breach. The Trump administration has imposed sanctions on the trading subsidy of Rosneft, Russia's state energy powerhouse, for transporting Venezuela oil in violation of U.S. sanctions. What the hell right does the United States have to right to put these sanctions on people? None. Zero. This is economic warfare. You know who is hurting? The people of Venezuela. The average person. This is disgusting, but who cares? Because they do in Colombia. Colombia is footing the bill for huge influx of Venezuelans fleeing. The Venezuelan people are fleeing the poverty, and of course the corruption, and the violence. And the United States and its allies are making it worse with this economic terrorism that they're putting on Venezuela by bringing down its business. Afghan incumbent is named vote victor 5 months later. Yeah. Oh, you brought democracy over there, didn't you, to Afghanistan, huh? Love it, don't you? No outrage. Oh, there's going to be a peace plan. You bet on it. I've said this over a year. Trump is going to have a peace plan before the 2020 elections. And they're opposing this so-called election over there. 5 months. Yeah, they count the votes as good as they do over there in Iowa. Iran has new type of missiles, U.S. says. How dare they? How dare they have any new missiles? Only we could have new missiles. Iran faces blacklisting in new hit to economy. Now, Iran's blacklisting, I find that racist. We can't call it blacklisting anymore. Let's call it neutral gender listing. Or any color listing. Because you can't say anymore, I'm going abroad. You got to stay home. Iran's blacklisting by Paris-based Financial Action Task Force is expected to take place Friday and comes after European governments decided to join the United States, according to American allied officials. And what they're doing now is they're putting new sanctions on Iran. Economic warfare only hits the average person, not the people at the top, and it doesn't bring regime change. You're a bunch of sick people doing this, and that's why you run for office. You're politicians. Okay, what else do we have here? Presidential reality show. That's right. They had the debate Wednesday night. Yep. Almost 20 million people saw it, but not as big as when Trump went on about the same time. You know, there was like 26 million people. And we saw Bloomberg, going down. Bloomberg hires hundreds to push social media messages. All right? Hires hundreds. Spent almost $500 million. Did you see what a nothing this guy is? They make all this money, and they have personalities and passion. That's zero. Michael Bloomberg's presidential campaign is hiring hundreds of workers in California to post regularly on their personal social media accounts in support of the candidate. Bloomberg just warming up, aides say. You know what that is? Bullshit. You got it. Bloomberg was primed. Why did he sputter? Because he's a piece of bullshit. Yes. And speaking of more bullshit, Sanders suggests he won't share full medical records. And he goes on to say, when asked during a CNN town hall on Tuesday night if he would release more medical records, Mr. Sanders, 78, said, I don't think we will. How come? How come? You had a heart attack, right? Oh, no, I didn't have everything's fine. Give you free education, free health care. Again, bullshit Bernie has a shot of winning this election. Again, it's in our Trends Journal. It's the cover story. Yeah, Trump 2020, that's my first call. This isn't over. Again, the health issue could bring him down. But it's a bigger issue. Again, it's in your Trends Journal. House is warned of Russian effort to bolster Trump. You know what that is.
Bullshit.
You got it. They keep doing this. Who gives a shit about the Russians? You see these debates, the fools make fools out of themselves. There was not one shred of evidence. Not one shred of evidence. We conclude, we believe, we assume. Yeah, like Saddam Hussein and weapons of mass destruction. Intelligence is an oxymoron in America because the morons are running the intelligence. I'll give you a sample. Though intelligence officials have previously told lawmakers that Russia interference campaign was continuing, last week's briefing did contain what appeared to be new information. Appeared to be? Appeared to be? You write this shit? Of course we do. We're the toilet paper record. The New York Times appeared. How about showing proof? We don't have to show proof. And then finally, governor to focus on homeless issue in California. Mr. Newsom called a 16% increase in California homeless population last year a disgrace. This is just the beginning. It's one of our top trends for 2020. Homeless and helpless. As the global economy goes down, the homeless population is going to escalate. More migrations, refugees. You haven't seen anything yet. Again, I have a partial solution for homelessness. You have all this state land and federal land. Build hometowns for the homeless. Put them on nice places. We have them right up here in the Catskills where the old Borscht Belt used to be, empty hotels. Fix these places up, build things, put them up there. You want to camp outside, people come up from the city to go camp outside in the beautiful country. Well, you could sleep inside, and we'll give you work to do. And gardens, and you could grow food. Rather than spending stupid hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions, and putting them in rooms inside of cities. Anyway, that's the way I see it. And remember, to subscribe to the Trends Journal, you know what to do. Tell your friends. Go to trendsjournal.com, the only magazine where you read history before it happens. What I just went through is just a tiny bit of what we publish. The last issue, 50 pages. 50 pages. Information to help you prepare, prevail, and prosper. Again, gold. I'm the guy that called the gold bull run. The day is there. The facts are there. Prepare for the greatest depression. Coming soon to the world. This is Gerald Salenti, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.